Hello. I thought maybe it was time for another coffee chat. These coffee chats are typically where I kind of just stream of consciousness talk to you about things that I've been going through. One of the lessons that I learned in spiritual mentoring is that we have to have a sense of vulnerability as a mentor, coach, whatever. And I feel like there's a lot of people in the coaching industry who may have that's the thing that sets us apart, right? There's a lot of people in the coaching industry who have incredible knowledge, incredible lived experience, and they're afraid to speak about it. They're afraid to tell their story. And I'm not saying I'm not. But with the amount of shadow work that I've done, I have found that it is incredibly valuable. There's a lot of times in private sessions where my clients will, I can give them the guidance, the spiritual guidance, channel from their spirit team, all of the things. And it's not until I share a story of my life that is related to this piece of the puzzle that they're currently going through that it kind of clicks in. And they're like, oh my gosh. Even though it's not exactly the same, but I can see the threads of the energy, and seeing how you from a human perspective moved through that helps me acknowledge the spiritual wisdom and kind of lock that in. One of the things that I've kind of been sitting with is, because this is such a different platform, is how can I build an audience? I've ran Facebook groups in the past. I've ran close-knit communities. I've had repetitive clientele. A lot of them were in the same friend groups, or they would come to the workshops together and some of these really cool things. And so it just felt like a closer knit community. And I absolutely love the community here on this platform, but it's a little bit more spread out. The same people aren't watching every single video that I post. The same people are not even watching half of the videos that I post. Each new video gets a new audience, and there may be a lot of repeats, and I've met a lot of wonderful people and had a lot of wonderful clients through this platform. But how do I tell my story in a way that relates to my audience when my audience is changing every single video? That's a strange concept. So I don't know. Here's a little bit about me. I have been going through it. It's been about 6 months where I thought, this is maybe another dark night of the soul, where I'm transforming, rising again like the phoenix, allowing it all to collapse. But as that 6 months has now stretched into 8, I'm sitting here in this bubble of isolation, looking at baby me in my beginning of my journey, who was told by other people farther along on the path, like, when you begin this work, people will fall away. And I was like, that's okay. I know, the closest people to me, they're my ride or dies. They're gonna stick around. Nope. All of a sudden, it's harder to relate to muggles. It's harder to sit here and talk about these everyday things because I see them from such a different perspective. It's hard to share myself with the people in my world because they don't understand where I'm coming from. I just got off the phone with my grandmother, and I was simply trying to share my perspective on a little bit of a family thing. My aunt, I haven't spoken to her in years, many, many years. And I was telling my grandmother how bad that hurt, because she used to be my go-to person in the family. When I felt like no one else understood, she would be able to hold space. And so for years I've been without that relationship, without really knowing why, and always expecting some kind of reunion, and that never happening. And so I was sharing with my grandmother how much that hurt me, and she immediately jumped into her defense. And I was like, that isn't what I'm talking about. I forgive her, I love her, I'm still hurting. This is about me. But it's weird to attempt to share yourself with people who can't hold space for you. That's really hard. It's really weird to really want that support from community, from the support person, to have close relationships, to have close and meaningful friendships, and to have just spent years and years watching them fall away. And I know ultimately that is because there aren't they're not able to hold space. They're not my soul family. They were the people I needed at the time who helped me accelerate into growth. They did support me in a season. They don't want to grow with me, and that's okay. And so I can love them where they are. And I can accept where they are. But there's still a piece of me that has just been like deeply yearning for those soul connections, for the soul family. And I've talked about this a lot in the past about starseeds, where our family is coming. They're just off planet. That's weird and that seems crazy, but the more that I've connected to individuals, especially like the Arcturians, who are really showing up for the collective right now, and I'm just overwhelmed with a sense of love, overwhelmed with the sense of joy and excitement that they have for this coming connections. And while I don't have a timeline, I don't know what that looks like, because humanity is wild. It's wild. I also have begun to see myself from more of a soul perspective. I decided I wanted to go to boarding school, and so I signed up for this human life. And at some point I will graduate and I will return back into my original form. I will go home and everything will be just fine. But for the moment, as a human, this kind of freaking sucks. And I think, baby spiritual me didn't fully grasp what they meant when they said people will fall away. I was terrified. Honestly, there was probably a good 2 years there where I prevented myself from having spiritual growth. I tried to just stay here. Just stay in this little box. Expand your gifts, but don't heal too much, because I was afraid my marriage would fall apart. You know what happened? My marriage fell apart. And I have love for him. We have no contact. He wasn't ready. He chose beings that were not assisting him. That's okay. It sucks, but it's okay. And I know that Spirit has someone else for me. Maybe not now. Maybe it's 20 years from now. I have no idea. But I'm going to continue to move forward with the hope and that understanding that what Source has for me will be for me always. And that even though I may not have the full picture, even though there's a lot of fog right now, I'm still moving forward. I'm still taking those chances. And so when it comes to marketing myself on this platform, I've begun to feel really just unsure. How do I promote myself? How do I say, hey, I know what I'm talking about? It's kind of weird, guys. It's kind of weird. It's kind of hard. Someone made a comment that was like, hey, I need to see some reviews. And I was like, honestly, that's a brilliant idea. I used to collect reviews all the time, but that was in a Facebook platform. What do I just put them in a Google Doc? I don't know. I have had clients on here who have posted videos, but it's strange to market yourself as an expert when the faces seeing you are different each and every time. I don't know. These are some things that I've been reflecting on. I'm dedicating myself to writing more on my Substack, and I think this is going to be a little bit of me sharing my story, sharing my process. One thing my guys have been really bugging me to do is to start writing my story. And this may take book form, but for the moment, I'm just going to kind of put it out there. As it comes to me, I'm going to write about it. This is a struggle I faced, and this is how I moved through it. This is how Spirit showed up for me. If you're interested in that, go check it out. I've actually really loved Substack. It's a really interesting platform. This morning, I was like, I don't want to jump onto TikTok first thing, but I'm not ready to get out of bed. So I scrolled through Substack, and I was like, oh my God, it was perfect. This little, it's like reading a newspaper. It's fantastic. I would love to hear how you're doing, how you're navigating these weird times, how you're moving through this fog. If you feel called to share that in the comments. I do have so much love for you. And if you stuck around, you're wonderful. I will see you soon. And if you'd like a private reading, I do psychic channeling and energy healing. It's really, really profound. Check it out. I have services. Okay, bye.